Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're finally doing this with my incredible team at Revanti. We're conducting a Microsoft Ignite 2024 recap. I'm Roman Avanesian, founder and CEO of Revanti. I also have my team members with us today, my co-founder and CTO, Yesai Choljan, our principal architect and Microsoft evangelist, Lai Le, and our dedicated Microsoft account executive, David Brown. We're super excited to talk about some of the major key takeaways from Ignite and cover things like AI. Obviously, it's been this major topic across different ecosystems and clients and partners. Also talk about some of the new developments in security in Copilot, as well as some of the components around endpoint management, Microsoft Intune, some great announcements with Windows, and also just to touch a little bit about go back strategies and how we will be helping our clients moving forward. So I truly feel this, announcements from Ignite truly empowering, and we're at this pivotal moment in technology. And really, Microsoft's vision for AI and security is so bold and transformative and really empowering for partners, clients, and a lot of different organizations in the ecosystem. And AI is really no longer a buzzword, right? It's truly the foundation. It's becoming the foundation for how businesses innovate, solve problems, and create new value for their organizations. And what's truly been remarkable to see at Microsoft Ignite is how Microsoft integrates AI across its entire ecosystem, from Microsoft 365 Copilot driving everyday productivity to Azure AI services enabling powerful industry-specific solutions. AI is really becoming that, being at the heart of pretty much everything. And with all these great announcements and great innovation, there's also the sense of responsibility that needs to be happening, right? So that's why Microsoft's security first approach has been also remarkable to see, and security is kind of the number one goal and is a critical component behind everything. So, products like Microsoft Sentinel, Defender, and some new announcements around security within AI and Copilot DLP, which Yesai will be talking about. So all these great things that we're super excited to cover today. And this sentiment is really reflecting the future that we're stepping into, the future where companies like Revanti and partners, can really harness the AI solutions responsibly and ethically. And for our clients, that really means secure, efficient, and impactful solutions. And that's where partners come in to lead the charge in shaping that new AI-driven landscape and AI-driven solutions. So as I was going through these announcements, truly it was inspiring to see how Microsoft's vision empowering partners, and therefore we are empowering our clients. And this three major pillars, which are actually considered our core values, how we make the connection in holistic approach, the modern security, the business efficiency, right? When we talk about all these great announcements, and at the Ignite, we've seen this theme around end-to-end solutions, right? What that really means is looking beyond isolated solutions to address the full scope of our client's ecosystem, bringing tools like Microsoft Copilot, Microsoft Security into broader strategies that really connecting people, processes, and delivering some great outcomes. Modern security, obviously, security being the critical component in today's dynamic AI-driven landscape. Clients need more than just protection. There is a lot of emphasis around trust and reliability of these AI-driven systems and new AI developments that are happening within Microsoft ecosystem. And this new announcements around security, which you will hear about, are perfectly aligned with that mindset of the continuous mindset of zero trust approach. And all this kind of creates that strong foundation, right, for clients that we're closely working with to drive business efficiency, right? Driving business efficiency and empowering our clients to achieve more with less friction. And all these innovations, around Copilot, around Windows, endpoints, endpoint management, and security, they truly drive the productivity and reducing things like mundane tasks, and enabling organizations to focus on high value work, high priority work. So, and with that said, as I mentioned, ethical considerations around AI, the responsible AI, and trust is absolutely important. And that's why this theme and topic that's been going around at Ignite, which is absolutely important to reemphasize, how Microsoft approaches AI in different aspects of the technology, different systems that they're building, right? This pillars that you see here is like security, privacy, safety, right? Security in this era of AI, Microsoft has been working on security for a long time, and now it's just becoming that strong foundation that we're building on top, and basically taking that foundation and extending the capabilities into the AI systems to make those systems trustworthy. Then we have the privacy as a kind of a fundamental right, and something that's incredibly important for adopting AI-driven solutions. And obviously the safety, making sure that AI is reliable and it's behaving in the way that we expect it to behave. And to make sure that all this kind of works together and it's successful, the governance component, kind of an umbrella across all these different pillars, to make sure that there are right checks and balances in place, right people signing off on things, right? And right boundaries are in place, be it data landscape considerations around artificial intelligence, which has been emphasized a lot, and we're closely working with some of our partners as well and internally to drive that transformation, and making sure that we put enough attention on data considerations as it pertains to AI preparedness. And that is the strategic vision around AI and security, right? Microsoft's trustworthy AI, which is comprised of two different components: the commitment and capabilities, right? If you look at the commitments, there's this concept of secure future initiative, which I believe it started around November 2023, looking at it as a whole, kind of like security by design, where security comes first when designing any product or service. And also security measures by default, where security protections are enabled and enforced by default, requiring no extra effort and basically considered not optional, right? And also secure operations, security controls and monitoring that will be essentially continuously improving to meet current and future cyber threats. So to stay ahead of that, right? And obviously, as we mentioned, privacy principles and AI principles, but also the capabilities of platform. There's been so much going on in security, governance, privacy, safety, all these different platform capabilities, truly empowering clients to drive those solutions. And certainly we'll be going a little deeper on some of these concepts and some of these components as well. But also what I wanted to bring back, these are like some tremendous stats from Microsoft's observations as it pertains to Microsoft actually adopting AI internally and doing all these great things for their customers. Obviously, Microsoft being a huge organization, 1 billion plus customers, I would say what's important from that conversation, it's been interesting to hear, it's not just about the ROI around financial considerations, right? But it's also the ROI around employee satisfaction, the customer satisfaction, truly driving that innovative approach to create and make a difference for organization and see how that's impacting day-to-day operations and not just focusing how much money it's going to save me, right? And there are some additional announcements I'll mention in a little bit as to helping clients actually understand that and to have a little bit more meaningful conversation in terms of realizing the value. But also some of the sessions we attended with David, with Yasai and Lai, some great discussions and announcements from leaders like Kevin Pisker, Nicole Deason. I've seen and heard this multiple times. The tremendous continuous investments in small, medium, and corporate segment across the ecosystem. 70% of total investments focused on SMC. What that truly means for us is doing more for our clients, really helping them to adapt to this dynamic era of AI. Different pillars you see on the screen, like 10x year over year increased investments in Copilot to drive adoption around Copilot and helping clients to do more is just tremendous. Some additional, investments in things like artificial intelligence overall, additional well-designed architecture mechanisms as part of Azure AI, ability for different partners and organizations to take advantage of that and build some innovative products based on that. Security in the middle being the top of mind thing. 90 million incremental investments, $90 million incremental investments in security pillar, right? It's tremendous to see. And obviously continuing to drive more and more adoption around core Microsoft 365 capabilities while taking the advantage of different models and mechanisms as it pertains to those relationships, subscription-based relationships that clients build, and really creating those synergies by bringing different components within Microsoft Cloud. Why? Because that's what will allow clients to take more advantage of AI rather than have many disconnected points where AI cannot necessarily be applied to in an intelligent manner, right? So with that said, it's also empowering us as partners to empower our clients throughout their AI journey, right? Helping them to unify and create that synergy, but also help them to maximize the benefits from their existing investments. This has been a top of mind topic for us, and we're hearing that a lot. We heard that a lot from Microsoft Ignite and talking to some partners as well. There are so many organizations that already have those investments, and they're still on the path of learning and taking more advantage from their current investments. But there's also the component of cybersecurity by design, as I mentioned, and also leveraging the advanced security capabilities, where it's absolutely important to create that cohesive approach to have that strong foundation for AI, which will ultimately drive that business transformation with things like Microsoft 365 Copilot. Some other announcements, which was amazing to see, empowering partners and therefore clients as well, infusing artificial intelligence in things like Partner Center, that being the main, one of the main tools and mechanisms that being actively used, to be able to provide better experiences for our clients, alongside with, some new marketing tools and new capabilities to provide some better, meaningful insights for clients to make those decisions. And some new opportunities for partners that are considered ISVs, to create more intelligent mechanisms in their AI-driven products on Azure, for example. But also some cool announcements with like promos and or discounted offers, right? As of like December 1st, 2024, there's been introduced the new monthly billing mechanism with annual Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription. But also starting in January, Microsoft is launching 15% discount on Microsoft 365 E5 subscriptions. So it's just amazing to see that, because if some clients had the considerations around cost effectiveness, right, that's where this different announcements and different steps that Microsoft is taking will alleviate some of those concerns and considerations and allow partners to help those clients to adopt more and do more with those advanced security capabilities and what have you. And I think Q1 2025 in January, there will be about 20 in-demand product licenses available as part of like partner benefit packages and partner incentive programs to help with more solutions for mutual clients. With that said, there has also been emphasis on the topic of partner-to-partner relationships. And we have seen that in our real-life examples, right? So in such dynamically changing times we're in, it's almost like unreasonable to go at it alone, right? And it's absolutely important for partners to adhere to this mindset more around partner-to-partner relationships versus focusing on fears or considerations around competing or anything like that, because the market and ecosystem is so huge. It's just it's amazing to see the things that are happening when partners come together. I mean, we have some examples, like Yesai has been exploring some of the great capabilities we've been infusing in Copilot preparedness, like working with Endpoint, addressing some of the data landscape considerations. Some of our alliance partners, working on AI adoption and change management aspects and things like that, right? So it's definitely very empowering to see that when you can help clients to achieve those multidisciplinary projects and create some great solutions. And when we talk about this, different partners and services that a lot of great partners bring to the table, that is where the value of cloud solution provider becomes more important, right? And this has also been an important topic that really caught my attention from Ignite and a lot of leaders talking about this. The considerations of traditional mechanisms of enterprise agreement that obviously has been serving and still serving a lot of companies, as a great mechanism with fixed pricing, upfront commitment. But with all those pluses, in such dynamic times we're in, there are also some considerations that are important to be accounted for, kind of like being slow to adapt to these dynamic changes, not being able to be to have more flexibility in those types of models. And that's where we truly consider the CSP to be the winner, right? To provide that agility and flexibility to be able to scale those services, right? And be able to innovate faster, right? And be that type of organization, to be that innovation ready organization to adapt to those dynamic changes. With that also, what really caught my attention, it's always important for me to not only internally, but also when we talk to organizations and clients, to make sure that they understand the value that they're getting, right? The objectives that they're going to be able to hit by adopting a specific solution. This is not just about technology implementation, right? Businesses really care about what does it solve for me, right? What's this solution? What problem does it address for me? So this Copilot Analytics announcement that came from Ignite. Microsoft introduced Copilot Analytics. It's basically the feature within Microsoft 365 Copilot that leverages Viva Insights to essentially provide organizations with data-driven insights and create some additional visibility into the adoption and impact of AI tools such as Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot. And really, it enables businesses to assess how Copilot usage correlates with their key performance indicators across different departments such as sales, finance, and marketing, right? So it's no longer just this generic conversation around if you implement Copilot, you're going to save a couple hours a day, right? That's not what organizations interested to hear. They truly want to understand how is this going to solve some of the problems that they have across different departments, and every organization is in different industry vertical. And with that, also there was this announcement around business impact report as part of Copilot Analytics. It essentially connects Copilot usage data with real business metrics, such as productivity improvements, efficiency gains, and ultimately revenue impact as well, right? For example, businesses can see how frequently employees use Copilot and how it actually correlates with measurable improvements in performance and outcomes, right? So it's not just about the usage of Copilot, as in like this many users use Copilot, but more like how is it going back and connects back to performance and outcomes. So definitely exciting to see all this. Happy to share. Happy we're able to share this with you guys. But also, I think there's a lot of excitement in my team. As I mentioned, there is some cool announcements on technology side as well we want to cover. So I want to pass it over to Yesai. I think he's going to talk about some of the cool announcements around Copilot agent, DLP considerations, purview considerations, etc. So I'm not gonna get into that. I'll let him speak to that. So Yesai, take it away.
Thank you so much, Roman. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. It's Yesai Children here, CTO here at Revanti. So I'm excited today to talk to you about all the newest announcements that we got from Ignite 2024. Now, the event was packed with a lot of great features and a lot of great announcements. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of these with you to kind of talk to you about all the new and exciting features that Microsoft rolled out, some of which is still currently in different preview states, but I'm excited to talk to you about these enhancements, talk to you about the different agents and Copilot agents that were rolled out, along with some of the new enhancements in Microsoft Purview. So let's get started and kind of talk about it. So we here at Revanti, we spend a great week at Microsoft Ignite talking with a lot of different Microsoft team members. We talked and got information about a lot of different announcements. So it was a great week, very informative, a lot of great information. And, as a Microsoft partner, what makes me excited most is now I'm able to help my customers and how I'm able to use these different technologies and apply it to enhance the day-to-day for our customers. So first set of announcements, I want to talk to you about Copilot agents. So Copilot agents are kind of built out of the box agents to help you enhance your Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. Now, some of the new agents and ones that have not been in the market include like the facilitator agent. So the facilitator agent basically allows for real-time notes as you're having a meeting. So this agent sits in on your meeting, and while you're having the meeting, it's able to take notes. And the great part about it is not only is it taking notes, it's also, listening in for any follow-up item and creating the appropriate tasks for all these follow-up items. So we've used it on many meetings so far. Great experience. It really kind of takes you from as you're having the meeting, instead of you sitting there taking notes, somebody providing the follow-ups, this facilitator agent sits in on your meeting and actually takes those for you and kind of alleviates that off your shoulders. So it's great. It is currently available, so you're welcome to kind of enable it and kind of start using it in your meetings, and you'll see how powerful the agent is. Along with that, there's a new interpreter agent. We're so excited to try this. This is actually real-time speech-to-speech translation. So it's able to take your speech and translate it into a specific language that you define while you're actively having the meeting. This is currently in private preview. It's not yet available, but it will be released out shortly, and you'll be able to, try it in the market. And I'll also talk about a few other agents, including like a project manager agent, some SharePoint agents, which are new and great. So I'll kind of show you some of those. And also autonomous agent. I love these because these are agents that do actions automatically with full automation. So we're excited to that this is now in the mix for Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, kind of moving ahead, I talked about some of the different agents. I talked about SharePoint agents. So you'll see these agents run out against your SharePoint site. So it's amazing to basically go into your SharePoint site. You're able to essentially create a SharePoint agent based off of that site. So you can say you have an HR site as an example, or you have a marketing site. You create an agent, you give it the knowledge base of that site, and then the agent's able to essentially return results. So think of a real world scenario. Let's say you have a site with a ton of documents, a ton of information, and your employees have to go and find this information, find documents. They're not really, it's a lot of back and forth. The agent's able to automate a lot of that and basically return those results to the user. So the user will sit there, ask the agent a question like, "Hey, what's our vacation policy like this year? What are our holidays that we have this year?" Instead of them going through finding a document with a schedule and actually finding the information, the agent will return that result. So this can be expanded to other use cases, definitely. So if you haven't looked at that, this is the new announcements. Agents in SharePoint are generally available now, so you're able to use them in your environment. I talked a lot about the facilitator agent. Again, this is available now, so you're able to try it in your environment. If for customers who have Microsoft 365 Copilot, you can deploy this agent and actually use it in your environment. A few additional agents. I talked about interpreter agent. Like I said, it's in private preview. It's coming in public preview soon in early 2025. There's also a new project manager agent, which is able to automate some of the project management tasks, create tasks in, say, Microsoft Planner, things like that. That's also coming in public preview shortly as well. So a few other things in the Copilot announcement. So there's also these new Copilot actions. So these basically allow you to automate your everyday tasks. So you're able to create an action like, "Hey, summarize every Thursday as an example. Give me a summary of all the activities or all the meetings that I had for this week as an example." Or let's say you can have a action that's going to summarize a meeting, some of the notes you had prior to you joining a meeting to kind of give you a summarized view before you hop into a meeting. So again, this is currently in private preview. We're going to know more about it as it becomes public preview, know more information, but just wanted to make sure I talked to you about that. This is another great enhancement to your Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. There's also a new Copilot prompt gallery. This allows you to create different prompts that you use on a daily basis. So if you have a set of prompts that you like, that you've been using, that you found very valuable, you can actually create these prompts and publish them. Once you publish them, everybody on the team can use it. You can share it. You might have a prompt that you use that you find a lot of value out of. You can say, "Hey, team, I have this Copilot prompt. I've been using it a lot. It's bringing me a lot of value. It's returning a lot of great results." You can share it, and then everybody else on the team is able to use it. So I think you're going to find a lot of value and benefits to using that. So it's something great for you to have in the environment. This is also something that's kind of coming in the mix, and you'll hear more about it as we kind of move ahead. So something I want to make sure that I provide some information on. Now, for your IT admins out there, some new capabilities that were announced at Ignite, including the new AI administrator role. So it's a new role to manage your 365 Copilot experience. So they will bring this also into PIMS. So for privileged identity management customers, you're able to elevate to a AI administrator role. As an example, this is going to be a new built-in role. There's also some new enhancements in the dedicated admin page for Copilot, a lot more reporting, more robust reporting. That was the theme, is, enhancing that Copilot experience, also providing you analysis and reporting. So that was a common theme. I talked to a lot of different team members across the different Microsoft booths when we were able to go and see some of the team members. So you're able to get some, the common theme was we're trying to make Copilot more reporting, give you more of that capability, more visualization, more analytics on usage. So in the end, you want to make sure you can see the usage and make sure that your employees and your team is getting the most out of their Copilot usage. So some of these new capabilities kind of give you that aspect. Now, another announcement that I was super excited to hear about is SharePoint Advanced Management is now going to be part of your Copilot license. So previously, the cost for using SharePoint Advanced Management was $3 a user per month. Now it's going to be included for customers who actually have a Copilot license. So there's a lot of great features, some of which I'll talk about, but summarized here, site ownership policies, inactive SharePoint site policies, restricting site creation, site access reviews, these are a lot of great reportings. These are natively available with SharePoint Advanced Management. So like one of them I really liked, like site access review. You probably have tons and tons of SharePoint sites, right? But you're not necessarily sure if these are active. You're not necessarily sure, hey, who's managing this site, what content is on there. As IT, you might not really know that, right? So the site access review allows for you to kind of pass that functionality to the site owner. So you can send a report, say, hey, please review this site. Tell me if all these people need to have permission on this site. If not, please address that. Please report back so that the permissions can be removed from these sites. So these site access reviews, and I'm just kind of talking about one use case. There's, of course, a lot of other use cases as well. So inactive report, you get inactive SharePoint sites. So if you have a ton of SharePoint sites, again, some of them are inactive, they're not being used. You don't want to return them as part of your Copilot results. So with that policy, you're able to kind of start understanding which are your active, SharePoint sites, which are your inactive ones, so you can actually, kind of see if you have inactive sites and remove those from the environment. Again, as you can see, the goal of this is to reduce oversharing. One of the biggest areas is to prevent oversharing. That was the common theme throughout Ignite, is to reduce that oversharing. So all of these tools and capabilities give you, as a company, the power to be able to reduce that oversharing so that you're able to deploy Microsoft 365 Copilot without necessarily having that risk of oversharing. And also talk about shortly about some other features that they announced as part of Ignite to kind of help in that realm. Now, I talked about oversharing, restricted access control. So basically, this allows for you to control. Again, this is part of SharePoint Advanced Management. I won't talk too much about this one, but just wanted to give you a quick summary. It's able to essentially restrict access to a specific site where only owners who are, or anybody who's directly assigned as in one of the groups can only have access to these sites. And if anybody is explicitly assigned or anybody is not part of these groups, they can't access the SharePoint site. So again, it's intended to reduce that oversharing. Now, additionally, there's a new capability for restricted content discovery. This allows for you to limit the SharePoint sites that are returned as part of Copilot results. Now, this is meant to be used in a limited capacity. In the end of the day, your end goal is to clean up the permissions, right? Your end goal is to know which sites should be part of your SharePoint online hierarchy, which one shouldn't, and also clean up the permissions, right? You don't want to start say removing a bunch of sites from your SharePoint search, because again, you're going to limit the power of Copilot. In the end, you want to make sure that Copilot has access to the most robust set of SharePoint sites, but in return, you want to make sure that you have all the permissioning properly so that sites are not over permission, right? That's the key and the most important part, but these are additional capabilities for you as an organization to restrict certain sites from being returned as you clean up the site, as you clean up the permission, and then you bring them back into search. So again, another additional capability that's being announced. There's also new permission reports, so you're able to get scope permission reports across all your sites. Which sites have the most, say, sharing links, which sites have a lot of, shared with anybody links, so anybody who has a link can access it. So it's able to give you more details about all your different SharePoint sites, and you're able to tell, oh, why does this site have so many permissions, right? Maybe this is over permission. Maybe this was not done by intent. Maybe, I need to clean up some of these permissions. So, these reports, again, great part is it's going to be all part of SharePoint Advanced Management. You're going to really like these capabilities. They're going to be included. So it's going to allow for you to do a deep dive analysis across your SharePoint sites, prior to rolling out Copilot. So we're excited, and as a Microsoft partner, now we're able to bring these reports and bring these capabilities to our customers, so we're able to really help them to prevent that, oversharing in their environment. All right, a few other things and a few other announcements as part of Purview. So data security posture management for AI. This is a new capabilities all dedicated to Gen AI and AI. So it's able to allow you to discover all the different risks in your environment. You're able to run different reports and assessments against all of your SharePoint sites, right? So these are part of Microsoft Purview now. You're able to run, like I said, a report. You're able to see recommendations on different SharePoint sites. Again, see which sites have a lot of over permissioning, which ones have a lot of sensitive data. So it's able to, give you a lot of robust reporting, and then you can run these reports over time. So the great part is you're able to run this one time, initially get that report, look at all your SharePoint sites, work on some of the cleanup, and then kind of go back and rerun that assessment. So now you see, oh, I had this report beforehand. Now this is where I'm at. I'm definitely increasing, I'm reducing the amount of oversharing that I'm having in my environment. And you can also run this after roll out Copilot. Let's say you do the cleanup and you're leveraging Copilot. After that, you could go back and rerun these reports, kind of see where you're at. Now, this is still in public preview. Again, they're adding more and more functionality over time, but this is new announced in Ignite. And a few other announcements, in the Purview realm, data loss prevention. I'm super excited for this. Now you can actually use DLP for Copilot. So you can actually apply for customers who are familiar with data loss prevention. Now you have a different location and you can apply it against Copilot. So as an example, if you can tell Copilot that if a specific item has this sensitivity label for customers who are using information protection, stop it from being returned as part of Copilot results. So let's say somebody asks, chat, hey, can you please summarize this document? The DLP policy will kick in. We'll say, oh, this document has a sensitivity label, so I can't summarize this for you, and it's going to restrict that document from being returned in the Copilot result. So I'm excited to see this to see this coming, and it's currently again in public preview. It should be enabled across the different tenants as it goes GA coming in 2025. And then also a few other announcements, some more risky usage detections in Purview in insider risk management. That's also coming in fruition as well in 2025. For customers who are using insider risk management, you're able to detect anomalies in Gen AI usage, right? If users are actually using, for risky behavior, things like that, insider risk management will return that. So more activity, more of this detections are being incorporated into insider risk management. And there's also a new dedicated, retention policy for Copilot. So depending on your legal requirements and your retention requirements, there's going to be new retention controls available in data lifecycle management. Again, you can apply the, same lifecycle as you do with, say, your email or your SharePoint, or it could be different, right? So this is being enhanced, and this is also coming into the mix now. This wasn't available previously and newly announced at Ignite. So some great announcements, as you see, from both Copilot agents, from Purview angle. We'll talk more about some additional announcements across the different areas in Microsoft 365. So now I've talked a lot about the future of Copilot and the different features. Now I'll pass it to David, who's going to talk more about the current state of Copilot and what we've seen in the field over the last year. So thank you very much, and David, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Yasai. Really appreciate it. Yeah, some of what I was hoping to talk about and some of the takeaways for me from Ignite are similar to some of the items you discussed, particularly around Copilot Advanced Analytics and some of the dashboarding and telemetry that's available now in public preview, and then going to be released here in the next month or so. And I think about those things, I'm getting excited about those things in the context of a Copilot go back. And by Copilot go back, when I talk to my partners at Microsoft and when I talk to some of our own clients, I'm seeing a trend for a certain population of organization where in the past year, organizations have been very interested in introducing AI to their organization, think it's absolutely critical for their competitive advantage, that their organization be AI enabled. Um, but they do so the way anyone would do so. They do so in a controlled fashion, starting first with an evaluation. So there's a small purchase of Copilot in terms of numbers, and those licenses are given to a group of individuals, either in the same department or cross-functionally, and those individuals are sort of tasked with evaluating the solution and tool and technology, and somehow quantifying and capturing its suitability for deployment to the rest of the organization, whether that's where you can expect ROI or the productivity gains or the cost savings or how it generates new revenue. And and what we do see often enough to be concerning and to create a program around is that oftentimes the Copilot use and the Copilot purchase doesn't get past that pilot group. So we've got a small group of users, call it 20, and we just don't see Copilot extending beyond those 20 users. The pilot um, sort of loses its energy with that 20 user mark. So that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today is our sort of programmatic response to that situation, which I'm calling a Copilot go back. Um, and the Copilot go back gets me thinking about this Bill Gates quote that says, we always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that'll occur in the next 10. And so, with Copilot and with generative AI, I think no one can dispute the product market fit. I think that's very real, and and AI's place in the world and in the workplace. I don't think anyone doubts that that's got a sort of a permanent place uh, within our society in the next coming years. I think what we have uh, overestimated is the rate at which we humans and organizations will be able to skill up for that technology, the rate at which we'll be able to adopt that technology, and the rate at which we'll be able to do all that and start to effectively use that technology in our day-to-day work life. So here's just a short timeline of, a very Copilot centric set of milestones. We see ChatGPTs being released with pretty good frequency, new iterations, and each iteration is like exponentially more performant and sophisticated than the last. We all know about the investment that Microsoft made in OpenAI and the partnership that exists there. And we know, of course, that that partnership has resulted in AI being introduced to Microsoft's product line, notably Copilot, which was released in GA in November 2023. What's interesting here, though, is for me is the monthly active use. This is in millions since that release just a little bit over a year ago, and sort of the shape of that curve there. We see it starts at about 20 million active users, peaks at about 36 in February, and then come July, we're kind of back down to 22 million active users per month, with it slowly but non-trivially trending back upward and bending that curve back upward towards the end of the year. So maybe there's some seasonality involved here. I'm not sure, but that does sort of jibe with what I've seen anecdotally and conversations I've had with both Microsoft and clients. One important point to note, however, is that, and we heard this at Ignite, is that Copilot is twice as fast in terms of its ability to produce responses. And those responses are 3 times more satisfactory and on target and aligned with expectations than what was the case in March of 2024 or February or January. So in many ways, it's a very different product today than it might have been if you had purchased licenses and started piloting this in January or February. So significant to note. And then, of course, the investment continues both with OpenAI and with Copilot generally. And I'll be quick about this, but what sort of interests me about the shape of this curve here is how it could be seen to match a Gartner hype cycle, where we have this peak expectation and excitement and enthusiasm about a technology. Um, Copilot, I think, uniquely fills that expectation, right? It's AI that you have control over, that is secure in terms of whether data leaves your digital estate or not. It's data, it's fueled by data that you own and is specific to your organization. So lots of really interesting, compelling reasons why to move forward with Copilot. But I think like when people are piloting that, trying to train up on that, skill up on that, and using it, um, they're not getting the sort of responses and outcomes and results they were hoping for. Maybe it was harder than they thought it would be in terms of prompting and speaking machine and delegating like you would to a person, but to an LLM in a way with a high degree of specificity. I mean, I've written prompts that's taken me 45 minutes to write, and iterated on them multiple times. Um, so then you can imagine where you're in this trough of disillusionment. Maybe you're not immediately seeing the value. Maybe it's harder to get the responses that you thought you would get, or maybe you're not getting the responses that you thought you were going to get, whether those are, actual responses to prompts or outcomes in terms of business, in terms of increased revenue generation or content creation or what have you. And then, typically with these hype cycles, there's a slope of enlightenment leading up to a plateau of productivity. And a quick note here, this is where this agentic era was really interesting to me. Copilot agents, Copilot actions, prompt libraries, etc. This is really interesting to me because I do think interfacing with an LLM and Copilot is tough. Um, we heard Donna Sarkar say at an Ignite event, Roman, if you remember, she was asked what keeps you up at night, and she said, to be effective with Copilot, you really have to learn how to speak a little bit of machine, and that sort of requirement we haven't really seen from another sort of technology before, where it really requires you to have some sort of conversational skill in machine, as it were. And then talking with another friend and colleague of mine, Jason Price, who's, our adoption and change management guru, he had this really interesting point about the skill you need to be really effective with Copilot is delegation, just like you would delegate to other people, which I know is difficult for me, determining which tasks to delegate, which ones to not, providing enough specificity, background, and context to get the outcome that you're looking for. Also very difficult, but also definitely required for Copilot. And then to be available for clarifying questions so that we're 95% certain we're going to get that response. Also very difficult. So when we talk about agents that are built for action and are purpose built to carry out specific types of actions, or purpose built to create specific kinds of outcomes, that kind of lowers that barrier to entry, which I think will be interesting in terms of getting up that slope of enlightenment and to that plateau of productivity. But I'm getting off topic here. So how do we move past the novelty and experimentation? How do we get out of the pilot and the proof of concept? We go back. We go back to the organizations. We go back to the individuals who were piloting Copilot. I go back to my leadership if I've championed Copilot in my organization. And we see what we missed, and we create a program that provides sustained support and training to make Copilot both a habit and and something that's understood and used for very specific high value use cases. So why go back? Um, you know, lots of information workers are using AI at work. The flip side of that is 78% of those 75% of global information workers, they're already bringing their own consumer grade AI tools to work. So there's shadow AI. They're exposing likely sensitive company data to LLMs that don't have commitments to privacy. That'll be using your data to train their own models and exposing sensitive company data to the internet broadly. So shadow AI is a thing. It probably speaks to the product market fit, but that's a reason you go back for Copilot, because Copilot does provide that secure and ethical set of controls to introduce and use AI in your organization. That's just not there with other tools. Also, 79% of leaders agree that their companies need AI for differentiation, for competitive advantage. The flip side of that is that 59% of those leaders are worried that they don't have any way to quantify what the actual return on investment is for Copilot, which makes it hard to litigate these purchases and these training initiatives and this change management strategy when you can't articulate that or see that on the back end. And the last piece is, 45% of license renewals occur in the first quarter of 2025. So whether I'm a champion in my organization who who brought Copilot to the org, or I'm Microsoft responsible for selling and articulating the value of Copilot, I'm gonna have to do that again and probably just around the corner. Um, so the program that we've developed and continue to refine is really this go back. And how do we go back? Well, we target this 11 by 11 by 50. And this really comes from the first 2 points come from an April article where 11 minutes was found to be sort of this sweet spot where if users recognized that they were saving just 11 minutes a day on certain tasks or all tasks, but 11 minutes a day, they would then recognize that they are receiving important value from Copilot, such that, if you were to ask them, if we were to take Copilot away from the workplace, would you be upset? Would you not be upset? Would you be indifferent? It would impact them to take Copilot away at that point with just 11 minutes per day. And if you were to have a time savings of 11 minutes per day and do that every day over 11 weeks, now you've got a habit that's been formed. And B, users would start to see in broader terms the importance and value that Copilot has for them with their work in all areas of their work life. So productivity, work enjoyment, how fulfilling their work is. Are they working on challenging activities or mundane routine tasks? Work-life balance and getting the most from meetings or getting the most from less meetings. And then 50 users is sort of anecdotal. Our friend at Microsoft, Yosef Malaku, says that 50 users is kind of this interesting tipping point where the feedback and the response from a 50 user group is organizationally relevant, and that's a perfect beachhead to then expand the use and adoption of Copilot, because that's enough users and enough champions to support that organization in a really meaningful way and support individual departments in their use of Copilot for very specific use cases. So, how do we go back? It's the basics, but we see where it is maybe we've missed. We see where it is that maybe needs to be updated, and 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 we go ahead and put that energy into those areas. Now, what's tying this back into the announcements at Microsoft and specifically around the telemetry, we've got dashboards today that would allow us to go back and very specifically sort of target where are people, what apps are people using Copilot for? Where is the opportunity and where are the wins that we can advertise and sort of double down on and be sure to train on? We see people are using Copilot chat. Now that next workload is Outlook. How can we get folks out of their inbox a little bit more and into the really creative, impactful work that we've hired them to do? Similarly, too, to some of the concerns from IT leadership about ROI, we're seeing in dollars and hours what the ROI is in terms of high usage users, low usage users, and those folks in between. We're able to compare groups of users versus non-users in terms of KPIs that we can custom set. So like win rates as an example. Users using Copilot have a 55% win rate as opposed to medium usage with a 36% win rate in our sales group. Things like that. And then, you see that top right window, that right part in the blue, that's showing you of the top Copilot performers and of the top performers by department, what are they using Copilot on? Oh, they're using it to generate emails. They're using it to do X, Y, and Z. These are things that can be replicated. Those folks that are doing that can become champions for the organization, and that go back can be very meaningful and very, very real world. So, we always estimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. Don't let yourself be lulled into action. All right, Lai, sorry if I ran over time, bud, but there you go.
Thank you, David, for the introduction, and thank you all for joining us for this recap. As everyone has seen, the major theme of Ignite 2024 is generative AI empowering us to do more, and Copilot is the UI of that AI. And that theme continues to extend to the endpoint space as well. Microsoft announced that Copilot will also be part of the Intune admin portal to help admins achieve more. And currently, that Copilot is currently in public preview. And the goal of adding Copilot in the admin interface portal is to help admins efficiently configure settings, implement policies with the help of AI. There's a long list of new features, but I want to focus on the main items in which I think will be very beneficial to our customers. One of the ways Copilot will help IT admins achieve more is through Intune policy management. You can use Copilot to learn more about individual settings and recommended values. You can also explore it if a setting has been configured in other policies. This capability is powerful for IT admins, eliminating the need for manual investigation and significantly reducing the risk of conflicts when multiple policies with similar settings target the same devices. A good example of where this will be beneficial is when implementing new organization-wide policies. You'll be able to ask Copilot broad questions in natural language interface about your policies. And the most impressive part is that Copilot will be able to provide recommendations. In addition, housekeeping tasks such as consolidating and cleaning up duplicate unnecessary policies will be easier and ultimately allow you to reduce some of that tech debt that you may have within your environment. And as mentioned, Copilot essentially will help that security posture of the environment as IT admins will have a better grasp of what settings and configurations are in place. This is very powerful in the scenario for partners because they can use this feature and perform security assessments. And then also in the perspective of customers and MSPs, they can use this to better maintain their environment and continue within their cloud journey. Another product that is very beneficial that's going to be released is the Windows Auto Patch with Copilot and Intune. This will be soon becoming available, empowering IT admins to simplify yet another critical admin workflow, and in this case, it'll be update management. Windows Auto Patch is a cloud service offered by Microsoft that gradually deploys and updates your Windows devices. Updates such as feature updates, quality updates, driver and firmware updates for specific devices is all within the Auto Patch capabilities. And with this new integration with Copilot, you'll be able to get support from key tasks such as planning and troubleshooting to analyzing deployment outcomes, and really empowering IT admins to proactively prepare for and resolve update issues all through that natural language interface. And once again, why that's important is the natural language interface provides that user friendliness, the efficiency, and the real personalization specifically within your environment. And with Copilot and Windows Auto Patch, admins can assess potential update impacts, drill down into devices with failed updates, and prioritize issues based on those that affect the devices most. Right? Really, by providing that complete AI-driven view of the update workflow, the Copilot can streamline the time-consuming tasks and really deliver actionable insights directly within that Intune portal. This really significantly enhances efficiency, improves security, and provides more control in managing updates, and really allowing IT teams to enhance the user productivity with more ease. Right? And this all kind of ties back to Microsoft's goal, which is really to make endpoint management as seamless as possible. So that way IT teams and admins can really stay focused on securing and optimizing their environment as efficiently as possible. Another big news that came out was the Windows 365 link. Essentially what the Windows 365 link is, it's a secure, purpose-built device to connect to the Windows 365 Cloud PC. Enables users to really work securely in a familiar Windows desktop that is responsive and with high fidelity experiences. And as Satya states, hybrid work is not just a trend, it's the future. And with the 365 link, we're creating a world where workspaces are as mobile and flexible as the people who use them. The Windows 365 link reflects Microsoft's understanding of the post-pandemic workplace dynamics. Really, by combining portability and the power of cloud computing, the Windows 365 link can help bridge that gap between the traditional hardware and really the scalability of the Microsoft Cloud. A little bit more about the Windows 365 link. It boots up within seconds and seamlessly connects to wired and wireless peripherals. It's secure by design, so there's no local data and apps or admin rights. It significantly reduces the attack surface, making it more difficult for malicious actors to compromise the device. Helps you provide more secure experience by enforcing security baselines. For example, secure boot, TPM, hypervisor, code integrity, BitLocker encryption, and Defender Friendpoint are all part of the Windows 365 link, and users cannot simply just turn it off. Furthermore, the device is automatically updated. It downloads updates in the background and applies it overnight when the device is not in use. And also, it's a very long-lasting device, meaning that there are no moving parts in the device itself. For instance, there's no fan in the device that requires frequent replacements. A scheduled release date is April 2025 with a pretty small price tag. And definitely that we see that this is one of those devices that will be heavily utilized or will be very beneficial for customers, for example, in the manufacturing industry where frontline workers do not need a dedicated device. The Windows Series 5 link can allow them to access their Windows Series 5 virtual desktop to complete quick tasks such as send an email, submit an order, enter timesheet, things that don't require a fully dedicated device. Alongside the Windows 365 link is also the Windows 365 Frontline Shared Mode. And what the Frontline Shared Mode is the feature where you have the capability to share the same type of environment and workstation to multiple users without having it to be specifically for the individual user. So back in 2023, Microsoft introduced the dedicated mode, which was a personalized experience where users have a dedicated desktop, data, and apps that follow them across devices. And basically, the main component of that is that it was a consistent access. With shared mode, it's targeting more of the specific users who don't need to have that the dedicated consistent mode or device, and it allows them to have non-personalized data and really to access a cloud virtual environment where once they're done, the key part to this is the data is deleted upon sign off. As mentioned, it's designed for the user that needs the brief access to complete ad hoc tasks. And where we see that this will be very beneficial to our customers is in scenarios where they have shift workers who are working, who are rotating shifts, where the employee only needs to quickly access the necessary applications without having to worry about storing any personal data within the interface or within the session, and then worrying about that data being leaked or passed on to that next individual. So working together with the Windows 365 link, the Windows 365 Frontline Shared Mode is going to be a really good component that will really bring all those different types of users and provide them with the technology for them to be efficient and utilize the technology for their day-to-day tasks. And alongside all these new features and capabilities and advances in technology comes the advances in cyber risk. We all know the typical threats from compromised identities and endpoints can lead to numerous forms of attacks. And then when powered by AI, these threats become even more sophisticated and challenging to combat. To counteract these attacks, Windows Cloud Solutions include a robust suite of features covering secure identity, secure access, and secure data, ensuring that security is built in from the start. And moreover, these capabilities are secure by default, meaning that it's delivering an out-of-box solution that has security and advanced threats protected already. Right? And as part of Microsoft's cloud commitment to secure cloud experience, they've deeply integrated the Windows 365 as well as the Azure Virtual Desktop within the Microsoft security ecosystem. And this unified approach combines the strengths of Microsoft Entra for identity management, Microsoft Intune for device control, Microsoft Defender for endpoint protection, and Windows 11 for its security features, provide a really cohesive and secure package. So basically, when you are utilizing the Windows 365 feature, you know that Microsoft has built-in components to make sure that security is intact And they continue to invest more and more to provide that holistic approach for secured computing. And as well as security, there also is the component of Windows resiliency as well too, right? Microsoft's initiative recently released during or announced during Ignite is the Windows Resiliency Initiative. And there's 4 main components that they're looking to tackle. One is to strengthen reliability. The second one is to enable apps and users to run without admin privileges. The third is to provide stronger controls for apps and drivers that are allowed to run. And then really to improve identity protection to prevent things such as phishing. This is really one of the main reasons for this is really in the response to the July 2024 outage where over 8 million Windows devices were directly affected. And in that scenario, we had a lot of situations where end users were completely in the dark, not able to access and work on their day-to-day tasks because their machines were not booting up or out of order. Right. So Microsoft has started implementing and building certain capabilities such as this quick machine recovery, where it enables IT admins to execute targeted fixes on Windows updates on PCs, even when the machines are unable to boot. And the key part to this is really without having that physical access to that PC. This remote recovery capability will unblock users from broad issues much faster, and also provide that capability to bring them back to being able to use their device in a timely manner. Other components within the Windows Resiliency Initiative is also protecting personal data, making sure that you're able to protect known folders and essentially encrypt the core components within the device, such as the desktop, the documents, and the pictures folder, without having to fully encrypt the entire device with BitLocker. And this is all integrated with Windows Hello. So when the user signs on and sets up Windows Hello, they'll be able to protect and encrypt their specific documents within the device. So that way they know that their data is secure within the device that they're using. Moreover, as the end of Windows 10 approaches, this is the best time to really upgrade to Windows 11. And Microsoft has started implementing or providing capabilities that will help you transition to Windows 11 even easier. The Windows backup for organizations with Enter ID accounts will allow you to be able to do that, where you can back up your settings from Windows 11 Windows 10 and transition that over to Windows 11 once it's reimaged or you're provided with a new device. You can really back up your accounts and transition in a much smoother process. So yeah, so those are the news for Intune and Windows. A lot of good, exciting items that are coming, and we're really excited to be able to utilize some of these new capabilities and help a lot of our customers and our clients as they continue within their cloud journey.